it turns out that we are not done with the announcements from the Overframe collection. There's more cards to take a look at from that set, and some of these are rumored to be pretty good. Now, this first batch of cards was announced 2 days ago, and some of these I've already seen. Now, this this reveal page goes incredibly hard if you're me, because this reveal page is gonna have Onomat support, Pendulum slop support, and Cyberse link climb support, all in one page, which is just perfect and awesome. You can imagine my mental state when I woke up 2 days ago and I saw these. And this one is junk speeder support as well. Like, this is what I woke up feeling wonderful. I knew it was going to be a good day when they announced all of that at once. So let's take a quick look at what they do and talk about whether they're actually good or not. We have multiplying Karibo. So this is, of course, all of the protagonist support. We're going to take a look at the rival support in a second as well, but okay. Multiplying Karibo, Dark Fiend, level 1, 300 attack, 200 defense. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. When an opponent's monster declares an attack or your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, if an opponent's monster attacks during damage calculation or when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can add to your hand or special summon a Dark Magician or a monster with 300 attack, 200 defense from deck or grave. Then you can change that opponent's monster attack to 0. I'm not quite sure what exactly this card does for hero decks. What I have seen people talk about online is that 300 attack, 200 defense happens to be the stat line of the power patrons in the Medius lore. So in some cases, you can do something with this in that. Oh wait, no, heroes it's Dark Magician. No, never mind. I was thinking of Winged Karibo because down there is a Winged Karibo. Never mind. Don't mind me. I'm not sure what it does for Dark Magician is what I should say. Is there anything crazy in Dark Magician that you can summon with this besides just regular Dark Magician? Because I don't think you're going to play OG Karibo in Dark Magician, right? But it is a relatively generic card if there is a target in your deck that you want to tutor out. And people have pointed out that this can turn into a turn 0 play in Archmage, for example, because you can summon the Archmage Power Patron, and that has a quick effect to fusion summon. So if you have, I think you need another Archmage monster in your hand, though, in order to fuse with the Power Patron, which can be neat, because you could get a disruption out of it, depending on what you fuse into. Whether that's going to be good or not, I don't know. This is not the craziest card, I would say, but it has like some future potential because it is worded relatively generically. So any archetype that has a monster with 300 attack, 200 defense, that even if you don't have a disruption from this, maybe it's something really important that you need to search, which could work. Isn't Maxi a target? No, Maxi has 500 attack. If this would search Maxi, after they limited it in the OCG, they would go crazy over there. But no, you cannot search Maxi with this after your opponent activates a monster effect on the field. That'd be crazy. But yeah, there are some targets for this. It's not a terrible card, but it's also not broken by any means. I don't think it's gonna see a whole lot of play, but it's whatever. The artwork is kind of cool. I like this. I mean, that's gonna be a theme with all of the overframes, I guess. I haven't seen an overframe card so far that I really disliked. But seeing how many they're doing in terms of the overframes, I really wonder how hard it is going to be to pull one of them. Not even speaking about like pulling the specific one you want, right? Like if there's going to be, I don't know, 50 or 60 overframes in this one set, like how easy is it going to be to pull one? Because on the one hand, I want them to be rare to make Yu-Gi-Oh collectible again. On the other hand, like if you pull like, I don't know, one overframe card per 3 boxes or whatever, and then there's like 60 different ones, it's going to be really tough to get the one you want. But keep in mind, there is going to be a regular version of this card as well, right? The frame break is just the fancy version. So if the frame break is super rare, that doesn't have to concern you as a player. You can just get the regular version, which I hope is what they're gonna do. I hope these are gonna be hard to find, and the regular one is gonna be the accessible one. But okay, that's besides the point right now. We have Winged Kuriboh. So now we got Jaden's support. So this one is the one for heroes. This one is the one that's supposed to be for heroes. Winged Kuriboh Sabatiel level 10. Light Fairy effect. I guess this one is also searchable by this. So if this one is really good, then maybe this gets better. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, pay half your life points, add one poly spell or fusion spell from your deck to your hand, and if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. Also, you cannot special from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except hero monsters. Okay, that is an important clause, because otherwise that could have been a really powerful generic searcher for all kinds of decks, right? Like this would have searched branded fusion. I mean, this can search branded fusion, but there's no point in doing that because there's a proper lock on the card. I guess you will only see this in heroes, but it searches Super Poly as well. It does not specify normal spell card. It searches Super Poly, it searches Fusion Destiny, it searches regular polymerization if you need that. It searches Miracle Fusion. Pretty decent card, I would say, in heroes, because even if you it is a one card play if you have nothing else, right? Search Fusion Destiny and that's at least something. I think that's pretty solid already. During your opponent's turn, if you have 1,000 life points or less, quick effect, special summon this card from your hand, then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest attack among the monsters they control. Okay, this is like a neat bonus that is going to matter in like 1% of your games, probably. But like realistically, it can sometimes save you from dying, I guess. If your opponent like attacks you and you have less than 1,000 and you can summon this to block the attack or whatever, like it could work. Random FTK effect. I guess you could maybe build an FTK around this, right? Where you reduce your own life points to 1,000, then you give your opponent a monster with 8,000 attack, and then you win the game. It's gonna be a meme though. For like realistically, that's just gonna be a meme. So this is quote unquote just a Rhoda for any poly or fusion spell that locks you into heroes, which is all right, I guess. I mean, here's the thing. Hot take once again. I keep repeating this every time we look at new hero support. I don't believe that you actually want hero to be good is the problem, because hero is an archetype that is full of floodgates. It's actually disgusting. So as cool as heroes are, and believe me, I agree with you, I think heroes are incredibly cool, but I think it shouldn't be a meta deck ever, because like that deck has like the Plasma, Dark Law, Dark Angel. If that's not enough already, I think there's more. It's just, there's so many. They got turn skips. Which one's the turn skip? Is that Cosmo Neos, the one that like skips the entire turn, basically? So yeah, whenever it's, once again, we've talked about this before, but unfortunately, whenever I'm looking at new hero cards, I have to hope with my whole heart that they are not going to make hero meta, because hero has a lot of floodgates in it. So I wish those didn't exist, but this card's neat. All right, we got Star Junk Synchron, which also looks really cool. Dark Warrior Tuner, so that is a Junk Synchron retrain. For a Synchro Summon, you can substitute this card for any one Synchron Tuner. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card's in your hand, you can target a level 2 or lower monster in your grave, special summon this card, and if you do, special summon that monster, but its effects are negated. Also, you cannot special from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Synchros. This is the funniest lock in Synchro decks, because it's just such a nothing burger of a lock, but okay. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Junk Warrior you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. Okay, I mean, it's probably searchable in some way because it mentions Junk Warrior, right? I believe, I don't remember all the cards that we looked at from the Junk Synchron like structure deck. I think they had ways to search something that mentions Junk Warrior. So it's a searchable extender, I guess. Which I'm not sure if Synchron needs more of this. Maybe this fills an important role or niche in that deck's combo. It doesn't strike me as a particularly strong card because it's not a starter or anything like that. It's a pretty good extender though. if you get interrupted at any point. Cool Tune Extender? Maybe. Sure. I mean, it is a tuner, so you can just summon back a level 2 Cool Tune and then make a level 5 Synchro with it. Maybe that's decent. It's not a bad card. It's basically all it is a new version of Junk what's it called? Junk Synchron that doesn't require your normal summon, which is good but not crazy. Which once again, similar to the hero situation, is unfortunately I personally feel the same way about Synchrons. Like I don't really want Junk Speeder piles to be meta. So is this card a 3 of? I don't imagine it would be in like the classic Synchro spam Junk Speeder. It would probably be like a 1 of that you can search because it mentions Junk Warrior. Since just in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it just turns out that, like, for the most part, decks want to play a lot of cards that actively start their plays. They want to play a lot of non-engine, and they want to minimize like the engine requirements. Which engine requirements is like the cards that you search within your combo that are necessary to make your combo stronger, but you don't really want to draw them because they're not like starters. And this is kind of like exactly that, right? This is like the one of that if you combo, you just search it for free and then you go from there. But it could be it could be that somehow this just fulfills such an important role that you play multiple copies because you actually want to draw it. But yeah. It's not a bad card, but once again, it's not crazy, which I'm not mad about that. All right, and here we go. Onomat support, Gagaga Magician, Gagaga Magic, Dark Spellcaster level 4. Please suck, please suck. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card's in your hand, you can special summon it and one other Zubababa, Gagaga, Go-Go-Go, or Do-Do-Do monster from your hand or grave except itself, and if you do, immediately after this resolves, exceed summon one Zubaba, Gagaga, Go-Go-Go, Do-Do-Do, Jin, Heroic Champion, Number, ZW, or ZS monster using only those 2 monsters. When you do, treat the level of one of the monsters the same as the other monsters. Okay. Funnily enough, this is pretty similar to this card, just for rank 4 instead of synchros. Okay, so the thing with this card is, like, I could swear that the Onomat archetype already has like 5 other cards that do the exact same thing. Like, I'm sorry, Onomat duelists, but every single card in your deck reads summon level 4, make rank 4, that searches more level 4s, that summon more rank 4s, that search more level 4s, and then summon more rank 4s that turn into more. Like, that's the entire deck. This doesn't seem like a bad card to me. Once again, it's not a starter itself, but you can be with another one of those cards in your hand. This is nothing new for the deck, right? This is just the same thing that any other card in this deck basically does. So, does this fulfill like a purpose? Like, is this something that's significantly better than the stuff that already exists? Or is it just like, here's another one? Well, yeah. You missed out, summon level 6 that turns into level 4. No, I understand that. You can summon the level 6 Dodo Warrior and then make it level 4, but like, I guess you can also make a rank 6 with it in that case. Because you're not forced to make the other one 4. You can also make this one 6. I don't know if that has any interesting uses for the deck, maybe. But then you can't do it after Ryzeals because you're already locked into 4s. But I don't know. I feel nothing when I read this card. It's not bad though. I could see them playing it, but I just don't know if it adds anything new to the deck, really. And now Pendulum. Horoscope Sorcerer, the Stargazer Magician. Dark Spellcaster, Pendulum, scale 1, level 5. Pendulum effect. You can only use the Pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. When an opponent's activated spell card or effect resolves, if you control a Magician, Pendulum monster, or Odd Ice monster, you can negate that effect, then destroy this card. Alright, great start. We got another end board. We need to put the end board pieces for Pendulum in the scales now, because they won't have room on the board. Because, like, the board already is going to have, like, 5 negates. So where can we put more negates? That's right, we put them in the scale. That's what we do. Yep. Monster effect. You can only use the first, second, and third. Oh, there's 3 of them. Nice. Monster effects of this card's name each once per turn. You can discard one other Magician Pendulum monster, Performapal monster, or Odd Eyes monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can add a Pendulum monster with 2500 attack from your deck to your hand. You can target one Pendulum monster card you control, destroy it, then you can add a face-up Pendulum from your extra deck to your hand. That's pretty good, isn't it? I feel like. Yeah, the third effect is basically Electromite. It's a special summon itself extender that searches... The best target I can think of is Astrograph, but I'm sure there's more because this is very generic. Yeah. I don't know, man. Supreme King Gate Magician is also good. Yeah. I mean, it's a good card. Unfortunately, that is not something I'm very happy about, because I feel like the use for this card is specifically one deck, and that is just like the Pendulum Slop combo, where this card fulfills 2 purposes, which is... or 3 purposes, rather. This card is a starter, it's an extender, and it's a negate on the end board piece, which is just wonderful. I don't know. I just hope that Electromite stays banned in the TCG, is all I can say. Wow. Cyberse Code Magician, the end boss, dude. Like that. This... As we progress through these reveals, can you imagine how I felt on Sunday morning? Can you imagine my Sunday morning when I saw all of these? Bro, it was not a good day, man. It was not a good day. Cyberse Code Magician, Dark Cyberse Ritual Effect, level 7, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Signet Ritual. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. If a Link monster you control would be used as Link material for a Cyberse monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. If this card is sent from hand or field to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. You cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except Cyberse monsters. Oh no! Also send one Cyberse monster from your deck to the graveyard, or if this card was ritual summoned, you can special summon that monster instead. This is the most Cyberse card I've ever read in my life, so of course I'm not a fan of it. But I do think it's not that crazy. I do think, hear me out, okay? As much as I despise the Cyberse archetype, and as much as I would like it to never get support again, I don't think this card is that insane. There is one specific use case for this card. Hold up. And I think that's because it's a pretty good target for this. Cyberse Witch, which is, if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can banish a spell from your grave, add a Cyberse Ritual monster, and a Signet Ritual from your deck to your hand. During your main phase, if this effect was activated its turn, target a level 4 or lower Cyberse monster in your grave, special summon it. This card is crazy. This card is an insane card. The only thing that, it's basically, this is Cyberse Wicked on crack. And Cyberse Wicked is already crazy. So this is basically the same as Wicked, but it searches 2 cards and also is Splash Mage afterwards, basically. And previously, the only reason why this card has never seen play is, of course, you have to play Signet Ritual, which is a bad card. But I think this is, for the most part, just a brick. I guess you can summon... I think the only realistic target for this was like this, which wasn't great. So there wasn't a good search target for Cyberse Witch, basically. And now there is... Right? Because, look, Cyberse Witch is going to be 2 Cyberse monsters that's going to search you this thing and revive. So at this point, you've revived 1 body from the graveyard. So you've turned 2 bodies into 3. Then, this in your hand is body number 4 for Link climbing, because you can use it from your hand as material. And then, once you've done that, this sends 1 Cyberse from the deck to the graveyard, which you can do a bunch of things with, but the most obvious thing is something like Dotscaper, which is going to be body number 5. Which is the most Cyberse thing possible, because you're turning 2 bodies into 5. Which is something that, you know, they've been doing forever. So once again, this is nothing too crazy or too new. So this is... basically just like a fancy way of replacing stuff like Splash Mage and Link Decoder. But the difference, I guess, is that you have to play like main deck bricks for it, which I guess is less broken than what it was. Of course, I wish they didn't try to replace Splash Mage or Dotscaper, not Dotscaper, a Link Decoder, because I think those cards were banned for good reason, so I think making replacements for them is not a good idea. But at the same time, this card is basically a very, very bad draw if you get interrupted, because it can only extend if you have like link monsters on the board that you can further link up with. But it's, yeah, I don't know. It's a good card, but I don't know. Cyberse Slop, if they eventually at some point hopefully get rid of Malice, I don't know if Cyberse Slop has a home in the metagame, even with this card, which is what I'm hoping for. Like, I could see people playing this card in Malice to make up for losing Splash Mage and Link Decoder and whatever else. But I guess we'll see when this comes out, because it's gonna take a few months until we get this card. Hopefully by that time, there is no already established Malice meta anymore, whatever. So yeah. So yeah, this first batch of protagonist cards was a rough one for me personally, because like here's the thing, I can't win if they release this sort of support, because if they're good cards, then I'm gonna be sad, and if they're bad cards, then it's whatever, right? So it's just like I just close my eyes and hope that these never see play, most of them, because yeah, all of these, it just happens to be maybe there is a system here. Do you think maybe I've found a pattern that they just happen to make all of the protagonist decks a little overtuned, and that's something I don't like. Weird. Anyways, that's the new protagonist cards from the Limit Over collection.